Hi everyone, it's Tawney. I just got out of the shower, so I apologize that my hair is a mess and my face is kind of weird looking. I like making videos without makeup because I feel like the pressure to wear makeup is just a little bit like, it's a lot for a lot of people. And like for me, to film a video, I don't want to have to do my makeup to then film and then take off my makeup. Like that's a waste. So I'm trying not to waste my makeup by doing stuff like that. So I figure why not just make a video whenever? And like I'm doing right now, I'm making a video without any makeup. And I look weird and I'm getting a zit right in through here that I just noticed in the shower, which is great because I didn't notice it when I was wearing makeup today. So I'm guessing my makeup did that. And I wore my favorite foundation, so that doesn't make me feel very good. But anyway, today we are doing the influencer tag. Now I'm not sure who created this video, but I will tag that video of who started it in the description box down below, so that way you can see like where it originated. I watched Abby Williamson do this video, and that kind of inspired me to do the video, and I hope that none of my answers are too similar to hers. I didn't want it to come off that like I was stealing her answers or taking her answers and making them mine, because that's not the case. And the way we feel about makeup is very different, just as everyone feels about makeup is pretty different. But I also know that Smoky Glow did this video, so definitely check those out. I won't have those linked, but check those out anyway. They're probably pretty good. I've only seen Abby's so far. So the first question, what are your general thoughts on celebrity/influencer beauty brands? So I, for the longest time, up until very recently, hated celebrity/influencer brands. I really remember Jacqueline and Jeffree Star's, launches and their careers and the type of people that they are, and I don't like either of them for separate reasons, and I've kind of had like a love-hate kind of thing. Like, I never really liked Jacqueline. I don't think I ever liked Jacqueline, but I used to at one point like Jeffree, and then I grew a brain and then stopped liking him. As everyone that has liked him and doesn't like him, we all grew brains, and then I was like, oh, okay, this isn't a good decision, so we're not going to do this anymore. Well, I never really liked the influencer brands because I felt like, yeah, while they were passionate about makeup, they weren't passionate about putting out good makeup. So then it was all just about taking money. Like, you make people think that you're a good person and that you're reliable when it comes to makeup, and you test good makeup so you know what good makeup is, and then you come out with garbage, but you've convinced people to buy your products, so then they're spending their money giving it to you for garbage, and like, it's not an even trade. Like, I would want someone like Jacqueline and Jeffree who are, understand what good makeup is, can afford to buy, the expensive Tom Ford type makeup, to put out good makeup similar to that, especially when a lot of times they're putting out makeup in the $40 to $50 range. But recently, I've kind of realized that some influencers, not all of them, there are still the bad ones, there are some that put out makeup because they like makeup. Like Samantha Ravindal is coming out with a makeup line, and she's coming out with that because she feels very passionately about makeup. Now, just from her videos, I don't really know much about her line other than it's coming out. That's kind of all I know. But she likes cream-based products, or, if I'm wrong, I apologize. But she typically likes creamier products, more of the creams than the powders. And she likes very light coverage because that's just something she's always worked with. She doesn't like full coverage or anything like that. So I'm assuming her products would be similar to that. So like, if you can't find anything on the market, or you don't like what's on the market, why not make your own? Make that gap disappear and fill that with what you're interested in. You know what I mean? So I kind of like, if their heart is in it, then yes, I am okay with it. But if it's just for money, then no, I'm not really okay with it. A brand that gives off the most cash grab vibes. For a while, I felt like that was Jeffree Star Cosmetics, just because he was never really that trustful of a person, and it just kind of seemed like he wanted the money. But I kind of feel like he does put a little bit of effort into his products, like the ORGY palette and that launch. I felt like even though it was disgusting and gross and weird and like shouldn't have existed, it was still something that he was passionate about. So he was putting it out because that's what he liked, not because, even though neutrals and nudes at the time were very popular, and that's kind of what he went for, was like making money off of that, it still seemed like he had put a little bit of thought into it. I can mainly think of like Kylie Jenner and Kim Kardashian West. Mainly because like the Kendall Jenner stuff I can get behind with the lip products because like that's what she's known for, but any of the eyeshadow palettes and the complexion products, I don't really feel like that's fitting with her, even though she does wear makeup, does do her own makeup sometimes, you know, but I don't really feel like that's something that she is like really passionate about. And then same with KKW Beauty. Every release is like the same thing. There's been a couple palettes that have like one or two interesting shades, but the rest of the shades are all shades that have already come out in previous palettes. So I kind of feel like she's just in it for the money and just like slapping her name on some products and like taking, you know, like innocent people are buying it because they like her and they like her show and whatever and they want to be her, but then they end up buying like this stuff that's not really worth it. Brand that you own the most products from. This is kind of hard. I would have to say Flower Beauty, which is Drew Barrymore's line. I know I have a lot of her products. I have 2 of the Dominique Cosmetic palettes, and I have 2 Fenty palettes, but I don't want to say that I have like the most of them. So I'm going to say it's Flower Beauty because I do have a lot of Flower Beauty products. And it's kind of a brand that because it's so affordable, I kind of find myself reaching for more often. I think that kind of was something that like Drew Barrymore really did well, was the pricing, even though like maybe she might not have intended it to be that way. I feel like because a lot of influencer brands seem to be in the $40, $50, $60 range, people get kind of intimidated. And then especially people that are shopping at drugstores only, that don't want to splurge on makeup, that just think that whatever they get off the shelves at Walmart, CVS, Ulta are good, that will pick up from Flower Beauty because the products are a little bit, they're prettier, I would think. They're a little bit more like, not pretty in terms of like luxury pretty, but pretty in terms of like, oh, there's flowers on this. And there's like this color that I really like. And I feel like that kind of like gets people more so. And because it's cheaper, they'll spend more money and buy more products. And then they'll keep trying it because it's so cheap. A brand you haven't tried but still want to. I would really like to try the Lauren Conrad makeup. I believe it's Lauren Conrad Beauty is what the name is called. Her makeup is being sold at Kohl's, and I used to work at Kohl's, so I was always interested in like, you know, perusing and browsing the makeup section and looking at what was new and what was put out. I'm not sure if they have it in store, but I did see it in one of the newest catalogs, so I know they have it online. But I saw some of the products, and the eyeshadow palette was $40, which I'm pretty sure was $40, but it seemed kind of pricey for a brand that was just coming out that seems very like, it's giving me adult Millie Bobby Brown vibes. So I'm kind of interested in that one. I'm interested to see what J.Lo has coming out, but I'm not sure that I'll buy any of the products. But I was one of those people that had a J.Lo shade of foundation that was like 10 shades too deep and made you look orange, like you had a tan. But I'd be interested in trying hers. And then I also would be interested in trying out Samantha Ravindell's whenever it comes out, just to see like what the products are and how well they would work for me if there's something that I'm not quite, like if they're, you know, the light coverage and the cream products, to see how I feel about them, because that's not really what I gravitate towards. So maybe those would be the products that like I end up liking that would convince me to try more cream products. Let's see. Brand you would be more willing to try if its owner wasn't so problematic. I always wanted to try the Jaclyn Hill highlighters, but because of everything going on with the lipsticks and with Jaclyn's previous history with Morphe, I just never felt right with wanting to buy from that brand. And I always wanted to try Manny's brand Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee's brand, I think hers is Laura Lee Los Angeles. I think that's what it's called. I always wanted to try them, but they first came out with their very first palettes right before Dramageddon 1. I believe it was the first one. I honestly, there's too many of them, too many feuds, and I'm not here. Like, I like drama, but it's annoying at the same time. But they were brands that I wanted to try at the time, but then all the Dramageddon stuff happened, and I like lost all respect for both of them, just kind of dropped them off. And I haven't really gone back to them, even though I feel like I wouldn't mind watching both or one of the two of them. But they're definitely a brand I would like to try more of. Brand with the most controversial launch. Now, I am going to bring this up. Abby Williamson mentioned the Jaclyn Hill launch because of the lipstick problems, but I would have to say the Jeffree Star Cosmetics and Shane Dawson collab with the conspiracy palette. I almost said controversy, but it was conspiracy palette. And I want to say this, it wasn't so much controversial when it came out, but I think the aftermath of everything that happened, where we all kind of realized we watched a 6-hour infomercial convincing us to buy this product. It pulled us in and made us buy it. You know, it was one of those sappy, it's playing, what is it, Sarah McLachlan in the Arms of the Angel song while the animals are being shown on the screen that are like near death. Like, I feel like it was one of those types of videos that it really like caught you and brought you in, and you felt like you needed that palette, even though it wasn't really the best palette and nobody was really interested in it. You still felt like you needed to get that palette because you had that connection. So I would say that one more so with the aftermath, just because of everything that like came out with the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star drama that basically canceled both of them. Let's see, the next one. Brand that wouldn't have seen the success it's had if it didn't have a famous face behind it. This is a hard one. I feel like Fenty maybe, because, well, here's the thing. I want to say Fenty, but then at the same time I'm thinking no, because Fenty came out and was very shade inclusive, very inclusive of lighter tones, darker tones, and all in between. So I kind of feel like that's not quite. Let's see. I think Huda Beauty is one I would consider to not have as much success, because Huda Beauty is one that really markets towards Instagram, and I feel like if they didn't have Huda behind it and it was just a regular brand, it might not have gotten as much like and as much push, because it might not have been one that like, maybe if it wasn't pushed on Instagram, people wouldn't have really like wanted to try it or been interested in it. And I also think Kat Von D, because, and this is like the original Kat Von D, not the vegan beauty, vegan love, like none of that, whatever the K word, I don't remember. But I don't think it would be the newer one, but the older one, because her line was very like the scene, emo, very dark. I don't really think, like, at the time, maybe early, like, mid-2000s, you know, closer to 2010-ish, when everyone was very, like, emo-themed. Like, at least for me, that was whenever I was in middle high school. So I was, like, in that, like, that was where we were, like, MCR Teenagers was like our anthem, you know? But I kind of don't really feel like that's a brand that people would have really bought into if it didn't have Kat Von D's name to it, because the products were so dark and not quite what you expect for makeup. And especially with not having a YouTube following at the time, like with YouTube not being quite as big in the beauty industry, I feel like that wouldn't have been quite as successful. A brand that doesn't rely on its owner for success. Ooh, this is a tough one. I was gonna say Anastasia Beverly Hills, because Norvina is their, CEO. She's not really the creator. I think her mom is the creator. I don't quite know for sure. But before the Norvina palettes, I feel like that was a brand that was very popular without having a specific name pushed onto it. But then whenever Norvina like marketed her name and came out with all those palettes, it kind of like buried them back in the sand and everyone just kind of forgot about them. So, a brand that surprisingly doesn't align with its owner's persona aesthetic. This is a tough one. I had thought about this one, and then it kind of like, I would have to say like Lady Gaga's line doesn't really seem like, it kind of seems like her because it's very weird, and I feel like that's something that she always like, she's weird, but at the same time it's very dark, and she's not really a dark person. Like, it's not something I would expect her to use or to promote if she were just, like, someone that was getting paid to promote the brand. Okay, a brand that deserves more hype. I would have to say, I think Flower Beauty deserves more hype, because that's not really one that, like, people talk about it, but it's not quite talked up enough. And I think the products are all overall very good. Another one I would have to mention is probably Nakia Joy. I don't really know of anyone who watches her videos, which isn't a bad thing. I just don't know anyone who watches her. And I somehow found her because she has oily skin like me. So maybe it was like through a search or something. But her products seem really interesting. And I'm really interested in all of her like glitters or creams or the eyeshadows that she recently came out with, because they look really nice and very pigmented. And I think that's a brand I wish more people would go over and like review and just try out just to see how they feel about it. A brand that doesn't live up to the hype. I feel like Jeffree Star Cosmetics is a brand that doesn't really live up to the hype, because I've used some of their palettes and never really found that the quality was that good. I found that it was sometimes patchy on my eyes. It wasn't quite as pigmented as I expected. And overall, the colors inside the palettes, it was very like monochromatic. Everything was like one color, and that was kind of like, you didn't really have as much like variety except for the Conspiracy palette. And that was just kind of like a crap show of all these colors. Like, it wasn't really like, and it didn't really make much sense, which although collabs don't really need to make sense because it's just what the collab or, the influencer wants, but at the same time, I still feel like it wasn't cohesive with itself. And then I feel like Tati Beauty / Halo Beauty. I feel like Halo Beauty more so because it's all just vitamins and like vitamins. Like, I'm not really, like, nobody's really like super wowed by this. I know a lot of people have posted like before and after pics of using them and they've seen success, but like maybe they drank more water, maybe they had a better skin regimen because they were taking these vitamins. I mean, they could have been placebos like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's all like, I'm not really sure. And then she came out with just one eyeshadow palette, which was a really good palette and I really like it. I have it sitting right here, but I feel like it's one that like, it was good, but then it just like, that was kind of it. You know what I mean? Okay, and then the last one. Who is one celebrity and or influencer you'd love to see come out with their own beauty brand in the future? I have two answers for this, and this is one I was like immediately I knew who I was thinking of. The first one is Jessica Braun. She obviously is here on YouTube. Both of these girls are here on YouTube. I think she would be good to come out with a beauty line because she is very, well, I think she's one of those like resourceful type influencers, YouTubers, makeup wearers, whatever you want to call them, because she's one of those that like, if she could use her bronzer or her blush as her eyeshadow, she will. If she could use one eyeshadow to create a full look with her, eyeshadow and eye look, she's gonna do it. She's one that she stopped using PR. She has just kind of like been curating her collection, using what she wants, keeping what she wants in her collection. She declutters a lot because she doesn't want all of this makeup. She wants what she's going to use. And I feel like if she came out with a brand, it would be a lot of products that were like the products she would use on a daily basis and would throw away everything else. Like, I feel like that's something that she would be good for. And then the other one would be Emily Noel. And I know she had came out with a collab with Makeup Revolution, and I wasn't totally excited about that one. I bought the eyeshadow palette. I didn't buy the face palette. And I just found that the colors were very pastel, very bland, nothing exciting. And they didn't really like show up well on my eyes. Like, I created a decent look, but I still felt like I needed more for it to look a little bit better on me. I think it's one I'll have to go back and keep reusing and keep it, trying to see what I can do with it. But I would like to see her come out with her own makeup, and I think she would be good to come out with makeup geared maybe towards like younger kids, because she has 2 little girls under like 6 or 5 years old or something like that love makeup. So if she could come out with makeup that would like for moms to do with their daughters and things like that, like Claire-esque makeup, but that doesn't have the asbestos and all the gunk in it. But then I'd also like to see her come out with like more like NARS themed makeup, where it's very like $30 to $40 range makeup, where it's still really nice, but you don't have to pay like an exorbitantly expensive amount of money on it. She is one I would definitely like. I would buy it just because it's her. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. I'd love to see if there's anybody I forgot, if there is anyone you would add or change or remove, whatever. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload. It's typically every 3 to 4 days, depending on what's going on in my life. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!